Welcome back to another guide. I know it's been a while, so I'll just get into it. Sparkle is one of the best supports who I recently pulled for, because she's crazy broken, in lore and in terms of what she brings to a team. She is legitimately one of the best supports in the game currently, and I don't see that changing at any point. So let's begin. Sparkle's kit is very simple and familiar to those who have used Bronya, though she does do things a bit differently. First, let's talk about her talent. This has a passive effect that increases the amount of skill points you can have by 2. This also has an additional effect of increasing all damage dealt by teammates for 2 turns whenever they use a skill point. This basically has 100% uptime, making it incredibly strong. Moving on, her skill, which is very similar to Bronya's, increases an ally's crit damage based on Sparkle's crit damage, and advances their action by 50%. Note, this is one of the major differences between Bronya and Sparkle, as the advance forward from the skill is only 50% and not the 100% like Bronya's. Now we talk about the ultimate, which is your main way of recovering a huge amount of skill points, as it recovers 4 and boosts the damage dealt effect of the talent for 2 turns. Lastly, for those who are planning to run an all quantum team, she does have an additional passive, which is custom made for this. This passive boosts attack of all allies and gets a bonus to that passive the more quantum characters you have on your team. So with that out of the way, let's get into light cones. Of course, her best in slot is her signature light cone. This is because of how broken it is. This light cone works really well on her, but in general is good on most characters. This is because of the effect, which increases crit rate by 10% and crit damage by 28% for all allies when the wearer activates the light cone's effect called Mask. Now this effect is not the most difficult to have up at all times, and even activates at the start of combat for 3 turns, making this light cone one of the best for any Harmony character right now. So some of you might be wondering, what about Bronya's light cone? Does that work on Sparkle? The answer is yes, this light cone is easily one of her best light cones as well. So if you don't want to summon for Sparkle's light cone, this was still the second best choice. What about more accessible light cones? Well, Past and Future I would say is one of the light cones that is the easiest to max out because of it being free to play friendly, and is one of her best options in most teams. That makes this the best choice if you don't have a 5-star light cone or running a mono quantum team. Because for mono quantum you got Planetary Rendezvous. This light cone is a simple damage increase that will always be in effect, with the only condition being you have to have the same element as Sparkle. Okay, so that's light cone done. What about traces? So the trace priority for Sparkle is as follows. The skill should be the priority to increase the crit damage scaling, then the talent to increase the damage buff you get from using skill points, and lastly the ultimate to further enhance that buff. Besides that, the basic attack can be ignored, as Sparkle will rarely need to use it for damage. Now on to the next section. Artifacts. Sparkle's best artifacts are actually quite similar to Bronya's, with Messenger being one of the best sets to use on her for that speed increase to the entire team. Of course, Eagle is another alternative which works really well in certain scenarios. For ornaments, the best is usually Broken Keel for that crit damage buff, which applies to all allies, including Sparkle. This is the best set generally for most teams. Of course, for mono quantum teams, Pentacone is just as good as Broken Keel, with it providing a constant 10% damage increase at all times. So these are the main stats you're looking for. On the body, crit damage is best. On the boots, speed is best. On spear, HP or defense percentage are actually really good. And on the rope, energy recharge rate. For substats, these relics / ornaments want crit damage and speed mostly, with effect resist, HP percentage, and defense percentage also being good for increasing survivability. And that's it. I want to thank you guys for watching, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.